podcast this and post that. Anyways, we'll go to D, fourth root of the numerator and fourth root of the denominator, and then you have to tell me what they are with or without a calculator. Hopefully without a calculator, you know those numbers. Remember, 2 9s equals 81, so 4 3s equal 81. Everyone should know that by now. And we're going to move on to the homework, which is on the whiteboard. Sorry, podcast people, but it's just way easier to do this. Okay, so what are your homework? And we're going to start with 3. Okay, so we should know that exponent of 1/2 means the square root of 16. And now you have to tell me what the square root of 16 is without getting it wrong for the 5th straight time. Yeah, good try. That's one of the answers. Go on. Gains, right? Positive negative 4. Okay, so let's make sure you put positive negative. I know you had a whole 2 years of no positive negative, but now we're grade 10, we got to do it. So this is square root of 36, which equals positive negative 6. This is a cubic root. Okay, our first power of exponent of 1/3. This is called a power. It's base and exponent equals a power. So if you hear power, it means you have an exponent. Okay. So exponent of 1/3 means cubic root. And what's the cubic root of 64? Is it 4 or negative 4 or positive negative 4? It can't be negative 4 because 3 negatives would make it negative 64. So 4. Okay, this one, I'll let you correct. Tell me though, what's the 5th root of 32, somebody? Positive negative? Nope. When you rewrite this one in E, you have to rewrite it with the negative sign as the radicand because it's in brackets. If you put the negative sign over here, you're going to lose your mark. Even though it's exactly the same value, it's not exactly the same form. And that equals negative 3. And this is similar. Cubic root of negative 1 grand, 1 large, 1k is negative these. Any questions on that side? No. Okay. Write this down. We kind of flew through it at the end because we're down to 5 minutes. But let's take a gulp today. So when you have a decimal exponent, you turn or convert decimals into fractions. And then you can tell me what root it is. If you don't know it, so if I give you decimal 135, you don't know that one, you can press your math button on your calculator. So everyone, just get used to your math and press it now so you know where it is if you need it on the test. Just put decimal 5, math, enter, and it'll give you the fraction. Yeah. 1/2, good. So this 100 to the decimal 5, the same thing as 100 to the half, and now you know that exponent 1/2 means square root of 100. And what's the square root of 100? Don't get it wrong for the 6th time. Everyone, positive negative. Good job. So that's what happens when you have decimals, exponents. Don't look at it and leave it blank. Don't freak out. Turn decimals into fractions. And that's usually the rule anyway. I told you, we don't like dealing with decimals. We deal with fractions and radicals in our AP and even in our 10C. So decimal 25, punch in decimal 25, math fraction. It'll tell you. What does it tell you? And hopefully you don't need to do that. 1/4. What's the 4th root of 81? We just saw it. Technically, it's positive negative 3. I'll take 3 for the 4th root. But technically, positive negative 3 is even better. This question just says rewrite. Okay, so all you have to do is rewrite and don't get freaked out if you can't take the square root of 27. That just means it's a rewrite question. But most of the time, you're not going to have a rewrite question, so you're going to have to evaluate it. So this says rewrite it as a power. Power means with an exponent. So write that down. Power equals exponent. So what is this as a power? You just do it the other way. 39 to the, everyone? 1/2. This is 100 to the 1/5. Don't put 5, put 1/5. This is -1.5 bracket. See if you put bracket there. You have to. Now, is it 2/3 or 3/2? You can't guess. Yeah, this is the denom. The root is the denom, right? So whatever you say cubic root, the denominator is 3. See fourth root, the denominator is 4. So you always, and then this always is this is the numerator, the exponent on outside the bracket, or it could be here too. That's the number, the numerator. That's what we did yesterday fairly quickly, but now we're slowing down a little bit. But I wanted to get that through yet. So this one is 5/4 cubed. Is that right? No. What is it? Close. So yes, good job. There's a 2 here. So it's 3/2. Okay, I know what you mean. So square root means 2. You don't see the 2s. This is a little trickier. Just make sure you know that when you put a 3 there, that's not right. Okay, the root means 1/2, or cube, or 1/3, or 1/4, right? And if it's square root, it means 1/2. So you need to have a 2 in the denom. Write down or take a picture if you need to. Correct the ones. And I think I told you this, but when I did math and I got one wrong, I left the wrong answer. I love looking at my wrong answers. I always think, oh, that's what my brain told me to do, and it's wrong. So this is the right answer, so don't do that, do this. So in high school and university, I always left my wrong answers, so I knew what I was doing wrong. That's just what I did. I think it helped a lot because I didn't really get a lot of wrong answers. And that was, I guess, that was just the way that I study started. My notes. Oh, I got this wrong. I better study this one. Because I got it wrong the first time. Okay, now we're here. You need to know whether this is cubic root or square root. What is it? Square root of the base, and then the 3 goes outside the bracket. Now that's rewrite, which I'm rarely going to ask you. 98% of the time you have to actually do this question. Okay, so what's the square root of 9? Technically it's positive, negative, but it's with something, so we'll just take the positive. And what's 3 cubed? Dougie Hamilton. This one, 27. So I'm going to apply the 2/3 to the 27. You don't need to write this part, and I'm not going to, again, probably. But that's what I'm doing. So is that square root of cubic root? Denominator, it's a cubic root. So cubic root of 27, all squared, and cubic root of 8, all squared. Do one step at a time. I don't want you to do this. So this is 3 squared divided by 2 squared. Don't go from here to here because I have no idea how you did that. If you just go like that, and oh, I did in my head, 9/4. How did you get 9/4? You can't assume I'm a math teacher. You need to show me how you got 9/4. Okay, so write down, show your workie. Oh, for all of these. So just like I do them on the board, that's how you do them on the test. Don't complain when you lose marks. You don't want to get the right answer and then get 50% or 75% marks. You have to show this. You don't have to show this. I just showed you once. Okay, so this one is the cubic root of -27, all squared. This is key. You need to know how to go from there to there. After that, it's just that quick quiz we had. What's the cubic root of -27? -3. Be careful. If you don't put it in brackets, your calculator is going to give you -9, which is not the right answer. Negative 3 times negative 3 is positive. Ooh, that's like University football number. I should have that on here. You guys linemen are going to run away from me. So you're my kind of back box. Lastly, we got this. I'll move it over here so you can see better. Negative, or sorry, not negative. 36 hundredths to the power. The exponent of 1.5. We just talked about there's a decimal. Don't stare at it for 5 minutes. Just convert it to a fraction quickly. Hopefully you can do it in your head. What's that in your head? 1.5. Talk to me. Yeah, 3 halves. And now you square root it or cubic root it. You square root it, and then you cube that. So that's decimal 6. Decimal 6 cubed is, I don't know, it's got 3 decimal places. What's 36 times 6? Is it 196 or 216? That's what I said. Okay. I don't like correcting homework, but we need to correct that homework and make sure you got the concepts. Is there any questions on those 2 words? Okay. I think I have my 6th sip of Coke since Ash Wednesday. Oh, I think it's pointy. Oh, so good. I had it on my cereal today. Brushed my teeth with it. No, I didn't have Coke at midnight. I had a piece of cheese at midnight. It was the greatest piece of cheese of my life. Oh, so cheesy. Triple cheese sandwich right there. Yum. Once one of my daughters asked me what my favorite letter was. C, Coke, cheese, Calgary Flames. Oh yeah, and Cindy. She was number 4 on the list. She was very happy when well, top 4 is not bad. All right, I will get to it. You guys are telling me with your eyes, stop making jokes. So I will. Let's do some negative math karate. 1 over the positive. Yeah. And that is right here. So negative exponents. Math karate. Oh, I almost went to the whiteboard again, but there's no smartboard. This one. So everyone can see. And this is textbook, page 231. And this is the theorem your professors will give you. But I couldn't, for some reason, I couldn't get the exponent of n in your denominator. So can you add that, please? It's not there for you. So x to the negative n is 1 over x to the positive n. We did that yesterday. For example, again, when your professors give you that, just put letter in for n and then see what happens. And you can understand this a lot better, the blue stuff, than you can understand the green stuff. So when you get confused in university, put in numbers for the n's, and it looks a lot easier to do. Okay? So together, we're going to do this one. This is example 1. In fact, you can do that one because we did that yesterday. What? Oh. What? Fract decimal and a denominator. Okay, that makes sense. Dividing by 1/3 is the same thing as multiplying by 3. True. This we learned 3 to the negative 2 is 1 over 3 to the positive 2, 1/9. I think example 1 says evaluate. Remember what evaluate means? to find the value of, you have to tell me on your calculator what it equals. You need to give me the exact value. This one, we're going to always move the negative sign up. But here's our first shortcut of the day. And it's an important shortcut, so star this one. And it only works when you have a fractional base, a fraction, and a negative exponent. If you have a fractional base and a positive exponent, we've already done those. Right here. We've done a fractional base and positive exponent. No flipping. So don't confuse this. Don't think because every time you see a fraction you flip it now. It's not true. But if you have a negative exponent, so here's a shortcut. You have a fractional base and negative exponent. Sorry for running into more stuff. If you have a fractional base and negative exponent, you are allowed to, and it has again to do with multiplying by the reciprocal, flip the fraction and get rid of the negative part of the exponent. So this is the same thing as 4/3, and I could flip my negative sign down, but then I just flip it back up anyway because we never have negative signs in the denominator. So keep the negative sign up top, otherwise you just have to move it up. And the -3 becomes +3. And we'll do more of those, but that's going to be, well, you can do it the other way. It's just going to be the way you did in grade 7, 8, maybe 9. Multiply by the reciprocal, but it's, you don't want the long cut, you want the shortcut. -4 times -4 times -4, 3 times 3 times 3. If you want to put it -4 all cubed, 3 cubed, you can. You don't have to. You can just do that in your head if you want, or punch it in your calculator. Again, when you have negatives, put them in brackets. Doesn't matter for cubes, but it does matter for squares. And then this one is just weirdo. 1/0.3 for the fourth. We usually don't see a decimal in a fraction. And I would just punch that into my calculator. Everyone do that. 1 divided by 0.3 exponent 4, which is math. What is it? Math 5? Or no, sorry, it's exponent button. I'm thinking of the roots. Right here, exponent button is right there. I'm an old man. If you did it properly, or if they did it properly, you get 1.2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wow. So cool. I'm glad we did this question. Okay. Good. Your turn. Do these ones. These are check your understanding. A, 7 to the -2nd. B, that was last year, or yesterday. I need more coke. 10/3 to the negative exponent -3. And let's do C, -1 decimal. I'm not good at C. I'm not really loving those last decimal questions. Okay, do A and B, please, right now. Well, I'm doing Coca-Cola Classic and savor every milliliter on each teaspoon. This is on page 231. Actually, don't go to page 231 because it has the answers there. We don't want the answers. Also want to do example 2A. Or is that negative? Never mind. I love that the battle of Bird is Sunday. Celebrating my birthday. Not going overtime because things are coming over. Green high too. That's how these little suckers. Popcorn. Thank you. What? I don't think we're going to be able to do this. I don't know what to do with the chocolate cover oven, but I think we'll have to eat those outside maybe. I'll ask. I'm not sure what it's going to be. Okay. Allergies. Good call. My last names. Let's keep my feelings good. Okay, how would you do? Well, hopefully you are not going to put negative 49 or negative 14 there. 7 to the negative 2 is 1 over 7 to the positive 2. And sometimes I see this. So students write down the 1 over, but they don't finish writing down the 1 over. 1/49 is not the same as 49. You're going to need to write the 1 over every time. Okay? 1 over, 1 over, 1 over, 1 over. How do you do this? I don't know. Anybody know? Thank you. Okay. Let's do it the other way. Shortcut? Or is that what you meant? You could do it that way and then do the shortcut. Or shortcut's probably just going to save you stuff. So what's a shortcut? Okay, flip it. So 3/10. And then what do you do with this exponent? Yep, perfect. I've only did it once, so I don't care if you know how to do it now. Just make sure you have to do it tomorrow for the test. Now, you go 3 cubed, you apply the exponent, and 10 cubed. You don't have to write this step. It's 27 thousandths. All good? Understood? Shortcut, helpful. If you wanted to, yeah, you could apply that, and then you're kind of in trouble here. But if you multiply by the reciprocal, you still get that answer. You're a fraction guru. And love your fractions. They love you. It's true. Boop-boop-ba-doo. Okay, go to page 233 and do these questions in your textbook. 6A, 9A, and I don't know why I put 8A there. 6A, 8A, 9A. If you don't have your book, take a picture, but please read your book. Thank you. Mask is upside down. Another. knows the whole thing. Nine A, just try your best. We haven't done that yet. Oh, you know the concept. You might still forget it. All right, you're looking at me. This is 1 over 2 cubed. Please show me that step, because I've showed you that step every time. If you go from here to here, I have no idea how you did it. Okay, so please show me all your work. Each step I write down, you write down. This is 1 over 3 to the positive 2. Okay, very similar questions. Now, how do you do this one? Anybody have a nice guess? Thanks for Alex. Nice, 1 over. Everyone write down 1 over. That's what negative exponent means every time, unless it's the shortcut. You're going to write down 1 over. Every time you see a negative exponent, you're going to write 1 over, unless it's a shortcut. Talk to me.
Over power.
Yeah, which equals
1.
1 over what? Square root of 4, yeah. Which is 1 over. Perfect. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. I didn't even teach you that yet. Salute you guys. Okay, so when we have a negative exponent, so if you look on the whiteboard here, if you have a negative 1/2, instead of your answer is 10, it's going to be 1 over 10. If you have a negative 1/4, instead of your answer 3, it's going to be 1 over 3. Okay, so all you have to do is write down 1 over for these negatives. That's what it means. Negative exponent means 1 over the positive exponent, unless it's the shortcut when you have a fraction. Okay, so let's rock and roll with this one. Example 2A. How do you do 8 to the negative 2/3? Well, we just did it. We did 8 to the 2/3, so 8 to the negative 2/3 is going to be 1 over that. So that's the first step you write down is 1 over 8 to the positive 2/3, 1 over, and you just keep writing down 1 over until you're sick of it. 1 over 2 to the 4th, 1 over 4. One over, 1 over, 1 over, 1 over, 1 over. Negative exponent, 1 over, 1 over. Yeah. Do that at my old age. Let's go with the age. How old do you think I am? Everyone's going to give me an answer. I've said about 3 different ages to throw you off. You're the first one. You're the third one.
60.
Yeah, it helps. Yes. Okay, I'll give you one of these. I remember what I looked like. I was Santa Claus before.
46.
46. 52. 48. 43. 51. 14. 14 times what? 5 times what? 7. What? 40. Big birthday. 51. 51. I'll take all the 40s. I am 51 today, and I feel young. Thanks to my kiddos. What do we got? Yeah, we got mines. I think that's, we got that right. Ashley, Nixon, and Lucas. Did you get Actually, she gave all the 40 people back. She got all the 40s. Money is there. Okay, there's only one person who got detention on that. And that's going to be the whole week. Weekend. In April. Okay, let's move on to 9G. What's 9G? Why is that so special? I don't know. That's the same thing we just did. Go ahead and do this one, 9G. 9 to the negative 3 halves, just to get used to what you do when you have negative signs. 1 over, 1 over, 1 over. Hopefully you wrote down 1 over a whole bunch of times. 1 over 9 to the positive 3 halves, which is 1 over the square root of 9, all cubed, which is 1 over, if you want to do this, you can. If you want to just cross it out and put 3 cubed equals 27, I'm okay with that. You gonna get 127? But you have to show me how you get 127, okay? So right now, I want you to just do these quickly. I'll give you a review assignment as well for tomorrow. That needs to be done to count marks on your test. You have a test tomorrow. So do this right now. Page 233. 6B, 8B, 9C, 13A. We'll correct in probably 4 minutes. These usually don't take very long. Thanks for working so hard. And thanks for brightening my day with your age. You're respectful, polite, friendly, age guessing, like we talked about in prayer, that you make people feel good about themselves, not hurt their heart. You guys actually think I'm 51? Yeah. I'll get a George Burns to go to clock. 109, still think it go. George Burns, famous actor, comedian. You think to 100, I'm not really sure, 3. Smoke cigars, oh boy. Yeah. When you're done those, do one more. Do this one. Sorry if I'm in your way. Don't forget the blue one. Another minute. 1 minute. I can't wait to win the 50-50 jackpot today. I don't think it matters what day, what time I buy the tickets. Leprechauns will make me lucky. I want to go to 2 places for my birthday. Boston, which Mr. J said, I guess, have an unbelievable St. Patrick's celebration. And, of course, Ireland. Dublin. Anyway, I've never been there. She's on the road. Has anybody been to Ireland? Yes? Is it awesome? Is it rainy? Snaky, like mountainy? Lots of nature? You've been to Dublin? Big city? Top of the morning, Julia! Wake up early, but. Okay, here is the shortcut one. Now, first of all, my friends, is this a shortcut? You flip that one. Why not? Yep. Yeah, it has to be a negative exponent. So just because you see a fraction, you don't flip it. If it's a negative exponent, that's the shortcut. Numerator becomes denom, denom becomes num, and you don't flip the exponent ever. Okay, so never flip the exponent. We've never said that, except for when I say don't do that. Now, square root 36, square root 25. If it doesn't say rewrite it, you can just go from here to here, okay? If your brain says square root means 1/2, I'm okay with that. Just make sure you don't skip some steps that I've told you not to skip. If you're not sure, just write it. I did say that's okay if you go from there to there. That's fine. That's cool. Okay, 6b. says 3 to the negative fifth. That's 1 over 3 to the fifth. And what's 3 to the fifth? Good. 1 243rd. Okay, thank you. And 8, Bobby, is 2 to the negative 4, which is 1 over 2 to the positive 4. Okay, so now we should be pretty welcoming these questions on the test tomorrow. We've done enough of them now that I think it's ingrained on your brain, as I say on Grumpy Old Men. And again, if you want to do this, that's fine. 27 to the 1/3, excuse me, is the cubic root of 27. If you want to save yourself a step that way, I'm okay with that at this point. But again, you have to show me how you got 1/3. Don't just put equals 1/3. What did you do? Did you just take the positive of this and put 1/3? You got the right answer to complete wrong way. I've seen that many times, so that's why I have to show our process, and you're going to get marked throughout high school and diplomas for showing your work. So here's your review assignment, where it says review assignment. That's due tomorrow. Textbook. That's on exponent laws. Now we're going to do some flippage, and we're still going to have on a separate piece of paper. You're going to go to page 32, and we're not actually going to rationalize binomial denominators. If I have time at the end of the class, I'll show you how to do it once. But we're not going to do, I guess it must be on this part. We're not going to do it on this section, but you should have this on the top of page 32 in the handout that I printed out. We're just going to use that space, if you want to write down 2 questions that are on our radical unit, but it's also on our trig unit. So you're going to talk more about Pythagorean theorem next unit, but we are going to see it right now in the radical unit. We have to know how to find x using radicals. So write down Pythagorean theorem. I should probably do the way you're used to. I don't want to. Okay, let's just do it your way. We're not going to do this again. X squared equals square root of 8 squared plus the square root of 12 squared. Probably how you're going to understand it easiest. Right? You guys remember Pythagorean theorem? C squared equals A squared plus B squared. Where the hypotenuse, sorry, I should, in case you haven't done this for months, where C is the hypotenuse. Hypotenuse. I don't know why. I just think you review your math books every day for 364 days a year. And now you do, right? You remember that? So you have to know how to multiply radicals. What's radical 8 times radical 8, everyone? 8. What's radical 12 times radical 12, everyone? 12. You can put it in radical 144, but why waste your time? And use your calculator or your fingers and toes. What's 8 plus 12? Get your socks back on. 20. And now to solve for x, use square root 20. Okay, so anyways, the length, when I say find x, is radical 20, but we're not going to accept radical 20. You're going to have to simplify radical 20. So go ahead and simplify that, like we've been doing throughout the whole unit. A couple of you lost marks on your quest because you forgot to simplify a couple of them. You simplified most of them, but you kind of forgot a couple of them. And I think one of them was 240. We'll correct the quest next, remind me. And we still got a couple things to do besides this tag. So you have to finish this off. Don't do the hard part and then forget the easy part. Okay? Next question. is same thing, except for you're not finding the hypotenuse, you're finding that guy. I'll start it for you, and I'll let you finish it. So this is not the hypotenuse. You're going to use the I don't really want to use this formula. I want to rearrange it. So did you do a squared equals c squared subtract b squared, or b squared equals, depends on who your teacher is. So that's what we're going to do when we find a not the hypotenuse. Use the subtraction formula. So x squared equals the hypotenuse. So you put the big number first, subtract radical 12 squared. Okay? So you go ahead and finish that one off just like this one. You already have your quests, so I'm going to put the answers up shortly, although I do still need to do this. I wonder if I could just finish it off. The next page. Oh, we got time. We got time. That's pretty good. Do some incorrect questions. So get your quest out when you're done with this question. You can correct your mistakes. Almost perfect. You all got double digits. Those triple digits. But the average was over 80 again, so great job. No, it's not the grade 9 marks you're used to, but this is not grade 9. As you can tell, all the stuff we're doing is a lot harder than grade 9. You agree with that? So, enough transition. You can still get your hundreds, maybe just not as many of them. But I dare ya. Tomorrow is your next chance. This one, x squared equals 44 subtract 12. X squared equals 32, and then you have to simplify radical 32 into 16 times 2. That's the hard one. Not 8 radical 2, 4 radical 2 is the winner. Okay, I guess I'm going to have to do it from here. Get your quest out, and let's go through the answers, which I can't do on the podcast, so pause. Okay, so that's the last handout, the last page, which for some reason is mixed up on here. I'm not going to get the conjugate, so I'll do that. You do that next year, but if you want to do it with me, come in on lunch, I can teach you some extra math, no problem. And no charge. Area, volume, perimeter. That means adding and multiplying radicals. So, of course, you're going to have a question like that. So, do these questions. Area equals 9 times 6. What does perimeter mean again? All sides added. How many questions are in number 1? Read the question carefully. The first thing you should do for number 1 is put A and B, which that's one way. Thank you. Okay, A and B. All right, podcast people, pause. We'll pause for station identification. Oh my goodness, I don't even know when I stopped. Somehow I stopped the podcast. That's the restrictions. Square roots, you got to write down what's boxed. That just means x squared equals 0 has to be positive. Cubic roots, there's no restrictions. So I got supervision in a minute. This was the answers to 1, 2, 3, 4. podcast, you can pause it now, track 1 and 2. And then I'll move it up to 3. And number 3. Review assignment.
Oh, that's enough.
Page 24 and manual, the first handout, like 3 or 4 pages equal together. And there's review assignment. On page 4. On the graph for exponents. I have everyone. That's not me.